One. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Smart Money Circle show. I'm Adam Sarhan. With me today is Matt Radgowski, who's the CEO at Halo Investing, which has transacted over $20 billion since inception. Matt, thank you so much for taking the time, and welcome to the Smart Money Circle.
Thank you, Adam. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to digging into a great conversation today.
Likewise. So, Matt, I always like to begin. Can you tell us a little about your story and how you got to where you are today, please?
For sure. And so we won't go all the way back to the beginning. That's way too far. But, I've spent my 30-year career all in the financial services world. And so many different roles, but mostly focused on the intersection of technology and investment management, right? So how can advisors, asset managers, technology platforms, better use technology to deliver better advice? Spent a lot of time at Morningstar, which quite frankly was very foundational for me in my career, focused on the investor, focused on their needs, and focused on delivering better investment outcomes for them. In terms of roles, I've spent a lot of time in sales and account management, so really try and understand the customer side. A lot of time in product, right? Trying to design and build innovative solutions that meet those needs, and then operations, right? The less glamorous side of what we do, but really trying to drive efficiency and scale to make sure that these types of solutions can be delivered effectively at the lowest cost, highest impact and value to that end investor as well. And so joined Halo in August of 2022 as our Chief Operating Officer. Really, quite frankly, on pursuit to change the way advisors build portfolios, delivering those portfolios to the end investor, providing solutions that offer protection. Halo's mission is to protect the world's investments, and we'll get into structured notes and how they do that. But really saw an opportunity here to engage with an organization that is mission driven, focused on the end investor, but really again trying to change the way that advisors build and manage portfolios on behalf of their investor base.
I love that. So let's talk about Halo, and please let us know what you guys do and some of your competitive advantages.
Sure. And so Halo is a wealth management technology platform. It's built to provide access to protective investments. And so when I say protective investments, that is structured notes, that is fee-based annuities, SMAs thereof, so separately managed accounts, so portfolios of some of those products. And so our technology platform really is designed for use by the financial advisor to source product, right? So identify products that are a good fit for their client base or the individual investors, so they can do their product discovery. We have the ability to execute transactions on those products. So the less glamorous side, the plumbing, as I call it, right? To purchase and deliver that product to the place it needs to go. And then these products need to be managed over time, right? As investors' needs change, as the market moves, investors need these products managed. And so we have a full life cycle capability within the offering that allows the advisor access to information, alerts on things that are happening within the products that make their lives, quite frankly, easier and deliver a better experience to that end investor. And so founded in 2015, we're about in our 9th year on our journey, but excited about the impact we've made and where we're headed. You asked about our value prop, our uniqueness in the market, and I'd say it's heavily focused on educating the advisor and therefore the investor, not only on the mechanics of the product, there's some complexity to it, and we'll talk about that, but not only what it is, but more importantly, quite frankly, what role does it play in the portfolio? When should it be used? And quite frankly, as importantly, when might it not be a fit, right? I think those two things are very important, when building a strong portfolio solution for any investor. And I'd say that's our uniqueness, really focused on making sure that the product is integrated, into the overall portfolio, aligned with the objectives, and that the advisor has the information they need to share that out again to that end client.
Got it. So just to be clear, your services are primarily for the advisors, not for the end client, but for the financial advisors, correct?
They are correct. Now, we want to make sure we provide information and data that can be used by the advisor with their end client, but we don't engage directly. It is a complex product in the FINRA sense of the word, right? So
Yeah.
there's a regulatory, I'll say moniker around that complexity, which again makes it very important for that advisor to work with the investor, in order to utilize the solution.
Makes sense. And then Matt, you've had a lot of growth over the time you've been there, but over Halo's, since inception, over $20 billion. Congrats on that. Let's speak about risk. How do you handle risk, and what are some mistakes you see people make with respect to risk management, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Risk is at the center, right, of everything that investor, should, in terms of decision making, right? You can, build the best model in the world, but if it doesn't address and align with the risk appetite, or quite frankly, the risk tolerance or the risk need of the investor, I think, you kind of set ourselves up, for potential issue, right? And so, when we think about risk, we want to make sure now that the products themselves are designed to help manage the equity risks, right, associated with a client's portfolio. And so we come at it, out of the gate, the product itself is designed to help manage that risk. But we want to make sure that we align the advisor. So we provide them the ability to easily search through the products that are offered, design them, quite frankly. They can customize these solutions. And so they can find the individual investment or the index, the broad-based index. We're all familiar with the S&P 500, the Dow Jones. The advisor can actually select those indexes that are aligned with the portfolio fit, the broader portfolio fit. And then around that, design the right level of downside risk protection that's desired, as well as the upside participation in the market, to really hone or personalize, quite frankly, the product that ends up in that investor's portfolio. So risk, quite frankly, is at the heart of everything we do, right? It's the decision that's made in terms of selecting and designing, that structured note offering for that individual client. As that risk appetite changes, there's the ability to increase the level of protection or decrease the risk. And so it's a very pliable product tool that, again, can be modified, right, to address the risk appetite and needs of that investor. And that's very important to us to make sure that, again, the tools are at the disposal of the consumer, again, and their advisor, to really make sure they're not stuck with a product that's just misaligned, right? And so it's very easy, quite frankly, to identify a product that, from a exposure perspective, whether it's small cap, large cap, international, and then focus on appreciation versus preservation and how those two things interact. They can really dial in that risk within the solution itself.
Love it. How about some timeless lessons? What are some timeless lessons you've learned along the way that you'd like to share with the audience?
Timeless lessons. Spend more time up front, and that'll help you, in terms of your portfolio, its management. I'll say double the effort up front. It'll lead to a lot less heartache, quite frankly, on the back end. For investors, be very open and direct about what it is you're trying to accomplish. The portfolio should reflect your objectives. And so I think it's super important as you engage with your financial advisor, be direct, right? Here are my wants and needs. Here's the way I think about risk. It's a very personalized thing. And the more you share with that advisor around, again, first and foremost, what are you trying to accomplish, and what risk are you as an investor willing to take to get there? I think is very important. How you feel about trade-offs, right? In terms of, yes, I may need to save more to generate the portfolio values I need or income I need. To me, that's one of the things I think in that advisor-client relationship, I think is absolutely critical. And so, we have the data and the tools to help, right, the advisor take those inputs from the investor and craft a plan that's appropriate. But it really starts, quite frankly, with a very open and frank and honest dialogue around what are your objectives, and then don't settle. Quite honestly, I think that's another thing, right? As an investor, you are the client, right? These are your assets that you work so hard to build. And so their management, right, should center around the things you feel are most important. and not, quite frankly, not the rest of the noise that we of course tend to hear out there in the market, right? The market is that omnipresent thing, and just again, I would say make sure timeless advice. Be very direct, be very specific, right? Write those things down, whether it's old school pad and paper or digitally, and share those. And again, don't settle. There's plenty of tools. There's plenty of products. There's plenty of great quality sources of advice. So don't settle out there.
I love that. How about timeless mistakes? What are some timeless mistakes either you've made, you've seen other people make? You've been serving advisors for a long time with Morningstar before Halo, now at Halo, that you see advisors make or their clients make, and how do you avoid them?
Yes, and so as a solution provider to advisors, I think the ivory tower, right? The theoretical is where I've made the most mistakes. I've built or helped build some of the most elegant solutions I felt, to meet the market that really just didn't understand the end consumer, the investor themselves. And so while they may have made perfect theoretical sense in the lab, that upfront go-to-market work to really understand what is the market problem you're trying to solve, right? Is really where, again, I think, I've made the most mistakes in my career. From as I've worked with advisors, and this goes back to some of the advice, right, around just being direct from an investor perspective. On the advisor side, I think, common mistakes I see is, their views of the world, their appetites for risk, their affinity for product sometimes gets in the way, quite frankly, of what that investor actually needs. And so be very in tune with that, right? There's so many great advisors out there. It's a wonderful profession. I'm certainly love being engaged with that advisor base. I think it's just important to make sure, right, that bias doesn't come in terms of the things that are that end up in certain client portfolios. So those would be the couple of the mistakes I've seen over time. Too focused on the short term, right? There's so much short term, I'll say noise and volatility in the market. And while you certainly want to be in tune with what's happening or happened within your portfolio, again, I think thinking that in that long-term perspective, I think is obviously, very, very important as well.
I love that. And how about as a leader, CEO, you've been around, you've led before, you've been led, so on and so forth, as you work your way up the ladder, so to speak. What makes a great leader? And what are some lessons about leadership that you'd like to share with the audience?
Yeah, lessons on leadership. It's really about empowerment. To me, my success, I'd like my success, to be, based on, quite frankly, the success of my team. I think making sure you find the right personnel, right, the right leaders around you, but empowering them to do the things that they're expert at. There is no leader that knows it all. I like to say I don't have the good ideas market cornered. And so just listening, quite frankly, to that team you have around them. Be the arbiter, though. I'm never afraid to make a decision, if and when called upon to do so. But as a leader, it's really making sure that you empower people to make decisions. You empower them with the right tools to do their job. You can't hamstring, right? Cut corners. You need to make sure that they have, again, the tools and the resources and the decision-making authority to do what it is that they do. And, it's funny, we were talking a little bit before we kicked off, have fun too, right? Enjoy, if you enjoy what you're doing and you find something you enjoy, as a leader, right, allowing that, that joy to enter, right, enter the workplace and enter into what you do every day, to me is, again, when everyone is at their best and delivering, the best solutions out there to the market as well.
I love it. I love taking notes when you speak and when other people, guests speak as well. So there's a lot of really, really good information here. So thank you kindly. I guess in closing here, Matt, what's the best piece of advice you'd like to give the audience or your 30-year-old self about business or life or anywhere you want to go?
Yeah, keep learning. I will say, in related back to Halo, I was not exposed to the structured note market. I knew of the product, and for me, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't that intense curiosity, right? And so always continue to learn, find new products, find new interests, find new solutions, keep that curiosity. Again, it's one of those things where the market does move fast, it evolves, there's new solutions. So, make sure you don't get too caught in your priors, right? Make sure you go out there and find the latest and greatest. It's obviously it's fun, right? It's exploration, which is certainly fun, but also it's impactful, right? And so there's again products and solutions that come to market. So kind of speaking about it in the investment context, there's incredibly innovative solutions out there, and so just continue to learn, continue to explore. It's enjoyable, and it'll pay the dividends in terms of your outcomes as well.
Absolutely love it. Well, Matt, thank you so much for taking time to join us today. What's the best way for people to learn more about Halo or get in touch?
Sure. The best place is our website. Wonderful source of data and information. That's haloinvesting.com. Great general education around the products and services that we offer, as well as just general information about the products and markets we serve as well. So I appreciate it, Adam.
My pleasure. I'll put a link in the description. And thank you so much for taking the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Adam.